Hey everyone, welcome to our camp with another recap. Today, I want to tell the story of a film about an old man who had a crazy dream to break the world speed record with a rusty old motorcycle built in the 1920s. If you enjoy it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. The story begins with the race that Bert had always dreamed of entering, a week-long event held every year in the middle of a vast salt flat in America. Bert had never left New Zealand before, but this year he's decided to go, no matter what it takes. Early one morning, he rolls his motorcycle out of the garage and starts it up. The sound of the engine is so loud that it wakes the entire neighborhood, but he doesn't care. Tommy, the neighbor's boy, is always there to help him. Once, Bert asks him for a big knife, and Tommy secretly takes one from his house and brings it to him. Bert carefully starts carving grooves into the tire to prepare the motorcycle for high speed. After finishing his work, he goes to the post office, pretending he has come to collect his pension check, but in fact, he wants to invite Fran, the lady at the counter, to his birthday party. Fran smiles and gladly accepts. At home, Bert attaches a file to an electric drill and uses it to trim his toenails. Tommy feels sick watching it. On Bert's birthday night, a large crowd gathers. Everyone is enjoying the party until a biker group bursts loudly into the hall. They make fun of Bert for his old motorcycle. One of them says he'll never break any record with that rusty bike, and to humiliate him, they invite Bert to a race the next day. The next morning on the beach, the place is packed with spectators. When the race starts, Bert's motorcycle won't start. Calmly, he asks the others to give him a push. At last, the bike sputters to life, and Bert shoots forward like a bullet, passing through the other riders. He leaves everyone behind, but near a turn, he loses his balance and falls. He loses the race, but he doesn't lose hope. After the race, Fran asks him how much money he's short for his trip to America. Bert says, about $800. Without a second thought, Fran tells him she'll lend him the money. Bert smiles and accepts, though he's not sure he'll live long enough to pay her back. They stay together until morning, when suddenly Bert feels sick. Fran quickly calls an ambulance. Bert promises Tommy he'll be back soon, and then the paramedics take him away. At the hospital, the doctor tells him he's had a heart attack and needs to rest. The doctor gives him some pills and warns him firmly that he's not allowed to ride motorcycles anymore, but Bert doesn't listen. As soon as he's discharged from the hospital, he goes straight to the bank to gather more money for his trip. The bank manager asks for collateral because of his age, so Bert has no choice but to mortgage his house. After that, he works day and night to get his motorcycle ready for the journey. When the day of the trip finally arrives, Bert says goodbye to everyone. Tommy and the neighbors wish him luck. Fran stays with him until they reach the ship. Bert looks a bit sad because no one from the motorcycle club has come to see him off. Just then, the same group of bikers he saw on his birthday night arrive with a roar. Bert rolls down the car's window. This time, there's no sarcasm. They give him some money and wish him success. Bert is really happy. The bikers follow him all the way to the harbor. While loading the motorbike onto the ship, the crane worker gets distracted and the motorcycle hits the deck. Bert doesn't notice anything and thinks everything went well. He says goodbye to Fran before leaving and boards the ship. The next morning, it arrives in America. The border officer asks Bert about the reason for his trip, but his reason seems strange and even funny to him. He is taken to another room and more questions are asked. The chief officer is still not convinced until one of the officers, who knows Bert, he has seen his picture in the newspaper before, explains Bert's story. When the senior officer realizes he's dealing with a legendary old racer, he stamps his passport and wishes him success. That night, Bert stays in a cheap motel. In the morning, he looks for a used car to drive to Bonneville. He enters an old repair shop and asks the owner, Fernando, for the cheapest car. Fernando shows him a car that makes a very bad engine noise. Bert lifts the bonnet himself, and a few moments later, it's completely fixed. Bert gets behind the wheel to drive around, but he completely forgets that cars are driven in the opposite direction in America, but he finally escapes unscathed, and they return to the repair shop. Fernando, seeing Bert's high skills, offers him a job and even a good salary, but Bert refuses because he only came to America for one purpose. After that, he goes to the harbor to pick up his motorcycle. Workers say the motorbike was damaged while loading. He opens the box worriedly. The blankets he had carefully wrapped around the motorcycle are still there. Several people help him so that he can finally breathe a sigh of relief because the motorcycle is safe. He hits the motorcycle to the back of the car like a trailer and immediately sets off. A few hours later, in the middle of a deserted, endless road, one of the tires on the trailer comes off and the motorcycle falls to the ground. Bert quickly stops the car and goes back to try to lift the motorcycle with a piece of wood, but he can't. At that moment, a car appears in the distance and brakes in front of him. The driver is a native guy, a local man from the area. Without saying a word, he helps Bert get the motorcycle upright again. He lets Bert stay with him for the night. In the morning, when saying goodbye, he takes off the necklace from his neck and gives it to Bert, saying it'll bring him good luck. Bert accepts it respectfully and then continues on his way. Because Bert doesn't have a spare wheel, he puts a piece of wood instead. On the way, Bert finds a house surrounded by junk cars. The owner is a kind woman. When Bert explains to her that he's looking for a spare tire, she lets him take one of the old ones. Bert welds the tire and starts driving again. A few miles ahead, he stops at a rest stop, goes into a small bar, and asks the barman for tea. But the others look at him in surprise because no one has ever asked for tea here before. Bert feels a sharp pain in the left side of his chest. He immediately leaves the place and takes one of the pills the doctor gave him. He suffers a heart attack and sleeps in his car for a few hours. After resting, he hits the road again. A few hours later, he enters Bonneville and is the first person to reach the salt flats. He's finally arrived at the place he's dreamed of for years. He sleeps in his car that night. In the morning, the rest of the participants slowly arrive. Among them is a man named Jim, a well-known face in the competition. Bert meets him and soon warms up to the others. Everyone is preparing to break the previous year's records. Bert goes to the race official to introduce himself, but there he realizes he should have registered a month earlier. Now he has no way to participate. No matter how much he explains that he came from the other side of the world, no one pays attention. He asks Jim for help. Jim uses his influence to get him a chance, but the condition is that Bert's motorcycle must pass the technical inspection. When the experts see his bike, they're shocked. The tires have no grooves, the brakes are old and weak, and instead of a gas cap, there's a cork from a wine bottle. Everyone goes to rest at the lodge, but Bert keeps working on his motorcycle the whole time. Jim tries to convince the officials, but this time he fails. He goes to tell Bert the bad news. Bert hears it, and his heart hurts again, so he has to take a pill. When Jim asks him what the pills are for, he tells him he's got indigestion. The next morning, as soon as the officials see Bert sneaking onto the track, they run toward him to stop him. Bert starts riding his motorbike, but before he can get away, they catch him. One of them suggests that the cars drive alongside Bert during the race so that if something bad happens, they can help quickly. Bert immediately gets on his motorbike and starts riding. Everyone gets into their cars and follows him. While everyone is following him, Bert suddenly speeds up and leaves them all behind. Everyone was surprised. Everything is going great until the rear wing of the motorbike starts shaking. Bert is forced to slow down and return to the starting line. The spectators applaud him. Still, his performance impresses everyone. The race officials allow him to compete in the main event. Gradually, a few spectators become his fans and step forward to help. Bert asks them to help him fix the vibration in the back of the motorcycle. He starts making a new part in the workshop, and after a few hours, he goes out on the highway to test it. He speeds past a police car, and the officer starts chasing him. Bert pulls over, and the officer asks him some questions because his motorcycle doesn't have a license plate. Luckily, he lets him go with just a warning. When Bert returns to the race site, everyone surprises him. He's named Athlete of the Year because no one has ever set foot on Bonneville at that age. Bert gets ready for the race. He takes his pills, preps his motorcycle, and climbs on. The crowd enthusiastically pushes his bike to start it. He enters the track and starts moving at full speed. He covers the first mile at 255 miles per hour. Cheers rise from the starting line. He keeps accelerating, the heat from the exhaust so intense that his leg starts burning. Suddenly, the motorcycle begins to shake again. His glasses fall off, and because of the strong wind, he can't keep his eyes open. Despite all this, he keeps going. He reaches the last mile and pushes the speed to the limit. As he crosses the finish line, the announcer shouts, 324 miles per hour, a new record in the history of the race. But Bert can no longer control the motorcycle. It has no brakes and is going way too fast. It falls on its side and slides along the ground until it finally stops. Bert is still alive, but the heat from the engine has caused severe burns on his body. He calls Tommy and tells him about his success. Tommy excitedly spreads the news to the whole neighborhood. When Bert returns, the neighbors come to see him one by one. Now everyone knows that an old man from New Zealand managed to make his impossible dream come true. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, you know what to do.